Okay, in this video, we're going to discuss Forex news and how it impacts your trading for Forex traders. This is lesson 5 in our 35 lesson package here at forexearlywarning.com. Website right there. It's forexearlywarning.com. It's one of our lessons. So I think that Forex news is part of any complete Forex trading system. Forex news shouldn't be traded all by itself. But if you have a complete trading system where you're analyzing the trends, support and resistance, and you have a reliable set of indicators, that Forex news can be a valuable part of that trading system. Sources of Forex news. Sources of Forex news include government agencies and also private industry groups. You have things like Purchasing Manager Index, payroll analysis, commodities inventories, things like that, and also interest rates. Like, for example, interest rate announcements come from federal agencies like the Federal Reserve or the Royal Bank of Australia, Reserve Bank of Australia. And but you also have non-government agencies and industry groups. And so what you do is you take all of those news drivers for 8 currencies, all 8 currencies we trade, British pound, Aussie dollar, Swiss franc, US dollar, all 8 currencies, and they're all consolidated on a Forex news calendar. So let's look at some news calendars. We've got 2 of them on our website that we link to. The World Economic Calendar right here is on our website. This is how it looks. So a couple of the currencies we trade are the New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar, and the yen. And you can see they have 3 icons here. That designates that it's a high volatility news driver. So you have monetary policy meeting minutes and an interest rate decision. You want to be in front of the computer for these news drivers here. And it tells you this one's at 0030 GMT, this one's at, there's no specific time here. But most of the times are listed. If you go to the, and these New Zealand dollar and Aussie dollar, those will be in the Asian session. In the main trading session, and this is another calendar look, this is one of the calendars we follow, the daily FX calendar. And once again, you can see like the USD has a retail sales announcement at 7:30. And this time has been adjusted to Central Time. These are GMT times. And these are, this for example here, this is Central Standard Times. You can, all the calendars are adjusted for times. So this is a US dollar news event. It's a volatile news event, and that's designated by the red icon. You can see which ones are red and which ones you want to be in front of the computer at these specific times. Over here, the volatile ones are designated by 3 little icons. That's on the investing news calendar. So news calendars have different looks, but you can always figure out which news driver will provide the highest volatility, and you want to be in front of the computer then. So most economic calendars also have a weekly view, so you can look at the entire week on. You can get in front of the computer on Sunday night when the market is open, and you can plan your entire trading week. You can look on Sunday night, and you can look at the entire list of news drivers Monday through Friday, and try to pick out all the times you may want to be in front of the computer. So it's a great planning tool. Okay, let's look at some example Forex news trades. So you don't trade news on a standalone basis. You should always know the condition of the overall market. You should always conduct a multiple time frame analysis on all the various pairs. And then you want to check all the support and resistance levels. And then you can toss in the news drivers to see what could drive movement, possibly hopefully in the direction of the trend. So in this particular example, there was a New Zealand dollar news driver on the news calendar in the Asian session. After the news driver, you can see that there was consistent New Zealand dollar strength, and this is on the Forex Heatmap. This particular live indicator we have is called the Forex Heatmap, and you can click on that link right there to learn more about it. But obviously after the news in the Asian session, the New Zealand dollar was strong. Everything with the New Zealand dollar on the left is green, and everything with the New Zealand dollar on the right was red. That means that after this particular New Zealand dollar news driver, the New Zealand dollar was consistently strong, and it would have been possible to trade pairs like the New Zealand US dollar on a buy. So if you have an indicator like this, and you know when the news drivers are, and you've also checked the market for the condition of the trend and the support and resistance levels, now you've built yourself a great trading system. Okay, let's look at another example here. So on the first Friday of the month, there's a regularly scheduled news driver called non-farm payrolls. Remember, this New Zealand dollar strength occurred in the Asian session. This particular news driver, non-farm payrolls, non-farm employment change, is a USD news driver, and it generally occurs in the main trading session. This would be 7:30 a.m. Central Time, not GMT. So there's a lot of websites that will tell you, well, trading non-farm payrolls is too risky. Well, I mean, not if you have indicators like this and you've done the proper analysis. So after non-farm payrolls news driver, you can go to your indicator set like the Forex Heatmap, and if it gives you USD strength after an NFP and all of the USD pairs are trending on USD strength, you can go ahead and enter a trade for the non-farm payrolls news driver. Now this is an important example. This is such an important example that we even have a separate written guide for trading non-farm payrolls. If you click on that link right there, you'll go to this page. And it's an article that tells you how to trade non-farm payrolls with a lot of consistency. It tells you all about non-farm payrolls. It tells you what to look for. It tells you how to look. This is a strong movement after the news driver. And we'll show you how to trade non-farm payrolls, okay, along with any other news driver. So actual versus news, forecast news. On many of these news calendars, they'll tell you, what the expected numbers are. And then they'll tell you what the actual numbers are after the news driver hits, right after it hits. And I don't think it's as important to know what the outcome of the news is, but it's very important to know when. If this is 7:30 a.m. Central Time and this news driver is coming out then, and it's a strong news driver along with these Canadian dollar news drivers, this is a great time to be in front of the computer. You have a bunch of news drivers right here at the same time. Get in front of the computer. Check your indicators, make sure you've analyzed the market well, and check the Forex Heatmap, to look for consistent entry signals. So get in front of the computer at the proper times and let the market decide whether, if the news driver results, the actual versus expected news, and let the market decide what direction it wants to go. There's also unexpected Forex news drivers. These are news drivers that are not on the calendar. They're just news drivers that come out suddenly for some reason. Could be a political figure somewhere in Europe or the U.S. It could be a political or geopolitical economic event or something that's unexpected. So you can sit there and watch the market 24 hours a day, 5 days a week across 8 currencies, but we're going to suggest that probably that is not the best way to do it because you're spending too much time in front of the computer. The best thing to do is just mark exactly when these events are occurring, these strong news drivers, and I think that you would also want to set price alerts. What we do is we set audible price alerts to monitor for support and resistance across 28 pairs in our system. We set audible price alerts. If you set the audible price alerts and you watch the news calendar, you are starting to develop a great alert system for monitoring the Forex market. And then when the market starts moving, when the news drivers hit or when the alerts hit, you can just go check the Forex Heatmap and to see if there's any valid signals for entering a Forex trade. It's a great system. It's a system of knowing the direction of the trend. You don't want to trade. You want to incorporate the news into your trading program, but you don't want to trade the news on a standalone basis. You want to have a bunch of alert systems. You want to know the direction of the trend. You want to know all the support and resistance levels. Then you want to have a great indicator like the Forex Heatmap. If you have all of these components in place, you can trade almost any news driver if a valid signal develops. So if you take all of the scheduled Forex news drivers with all of the alert systems and all of the indicators and you put it together into a system, then we think that trading the Forex news is absolutely a valid addition to any trading system. So this is lesson 5 in our package. This is our 35 lesson package. This is lesson number 5. And go to forexearlywarning.com and you'll find this article, Forex News Impact on Trading. So in this article we tell you about Forex News, how it drives movement, where do you get Forex News from, and the Forex News calendar, and a couple of great examples on how to trade the news.